What's up, everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Marincess. Now, Marincess is a very cool deck, and it's actually a pretty competitive deck. Although with the Healer and Caster existing, definitely becomes a lot weaker. But it's still a very good rogue deck. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First, we got 3 Marincess Blue Tang. Blue Tang is kind of more or less like your starter of the deck. First, whenever it is normal special summon, you can send a Marincess monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then when it is linked away for the link summon of a water monster, you can activate the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you do, add 1 activated Marincess card from your deck to your hand. Add 1 activated Marincess card to your hand. So usually what you do is you'll normal the Blue Tang, go into one of your link ones, send the Seahorse, and then activate and add 1. Speaking of Seahorse, we also run 3 of the Marincess Seahorse. Seahorse is really cool because you can special Seahorse from your hand to a zone that Link Monster points to, and while it's in the graveyard, except the turn it's sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard, special summon a water monster from your hand to zone that Marincess Link Monster points to. So, if you see both the Blue Tang and Seahorse in your opening hand, then that's a really good opening hand. Because you can just normally summon the Blue Tang, or even if you don't see Seahorse, you can just summon Blue Tang, Foolish the Seahorse, use the Link 1 to add Seahorse back to your hand, then special summon the Seahorse, and you can go into a Link 2, or your other Link 1. I also run 3 Marincess Spring Girl. Spring Girl is kind of like an extender, banish a Marincess monster from graveyard, special summon from the hand. It's also got an additional effect to do a little bit of burn damage, but that part's not really reliable in the slightest. So this is another just good card to extend. Also run the 2 Pascalus. Pascalus is really cool, although the one problem with Pascalus is it does become a hand trap target. Because let's say you open Blue Tang and Pascalus. If you normal Pascalus and then use Pascalus effect to summon the Blue Tang, let's say they Veiler or Emperor or just negate it, then your plays more or less just die there. So that's why I only run it at 2, and I don't really use it for that, at least without having some other way to follow up with it. Also run the 1 Sleepy Maiden. Like Spring Girl, it's an extender that special summons from the hand. Also run the 1 Mandarin. Mandarin, like the Spring Girl and the Sleepy Maiden, can special summon from the hand, but Mandarin can also special summon from the grave as well. Now I run some hand traps in the form of the 3 DD Crow, 2 Ash, a Nibiru, Veiler, Droll, and Ghost Spell. Now you're probably wondering why I won 1 of each of these 4. It's more so that because I run Crossout Designator in this. Marincess is really cool, but a card like Nibiru, which is definitely very popular in this format, is going to destroy this deck completely. And a well-timed hand trap can hurt this deck pretty well. So I at least want to have a counter for those hand traps. Because if we can essentially remove hand traps from the equation, which Crossout Designator definitely does help with that, then we can build a pretty good board. Because all it takes is a single effect Veiler or a single Ash to just really ruin this deck. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Marincess Dive. Marincess Dive is really cool. You activate one of the following effects, although it locks into waters for the rest of the turn, but you only run waters. Except for access code, everything in your main deck and your extra deck is water. Well, obviously not the hand traps, but. So, the first effect is target a non-link Marincess monster in your graveyard, special summon it. But if you control the Battle Ocean, you can special summon a Marincess monster from your deck. So, if you open with a Marincess Dive, then that's definitely really good, because you can get to your Battle Ocean very easily off of Blue Slug. Speaking of the Battle Ocean is really cool. So, when you link summon a Marincess monster to the extra monster zone, you can equip up to 3 Marincess link monsters with different names from graveyard to that link summon monster. And they gain 600 attack for each, plus an additional 200 from the field spell. So if you equip it with 3 equip monsters, or 3 link monsters, then that's basically a 2000 boost to your Marincess monster. Also run 3 Signet Mining because Marincess are Cybers. I still don't understand what makes them Cybers, but they're Cybers. 2 Pot of Desires. Definitely really want the draw power, and you run 3 of a lot of, or at least the important cards. So there's not really anything that we're going to desire and be like, oops, can't play Yu-Gi-Oh now. I run 2 Crossout Designator and the 1 Call by the Grave. I wanted to run like 3 Crossout, 3 Call by the Grave, but then I'd have hands where I open like 2 Crossout and a Call by the Grave. which I definitely do not want. So I cut it down to 2. Also run the 1 Droplet and the 1 Dark Roller no more. Good cards going second, but also good crossed out targets as well. Moving on to traps, I run the 3 Marincess Wave. Marincess Wave, if you control a link monster, target face-up monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of the turn. It's basically Hype and Imperm, but it's got also a really cool effect. If you control a link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. And if you control a link 3 or higher, you can activate this card from your hand. So if you control a link 3 Marincess monster or higher, then this becomes an Imperm, literally a hand trap. Of course, I also run 2 actual Imperm to help. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 Blue Slug. Blue Slug, when it's linked summoned, you can target 1 Marincess monster in your graveyard. I run the 2 Sea Angel. When it's linked summoned, you can add a Marincess spell from your deck to your hand. Both these are really good, because this can grab back your Seahorse, your Blue Tang, and Sea Angel gets you straight into your Battle Ocean. Also run the 2 Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone, basically you can target a water monster with 1500 or less attack in the graveyard, special summon it to the zone this card points to. Additionally, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you target 1 Marincess card in the graveyard, add to your hand. So not only can it special summon a Marincess monster from the grave, you can also add a card back when it's sent to the graveyard, which is pretty much always going to happen. Because you can just summon a water from grave, then use this, and the one you summon to go into a link 3. Also run the 1 Marbled Rock. Marbled Rock's cool, but doesn't quite come up all the time. You target a Marincess card in the graveyard, add to your hand. So it's kind of like the main effect of Marbled Rock is the second effect of Crystal Heart. Not Crystal Heart, Coral Anemone. Also run the 1 Coral Triangle. Coral Triangle, you can send 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 Marincess trap from your deck to your hand. And additionally, it's got additional effect too. If your opponent controls a monster, you special summon other monsters from grave, but that's rarely going to happen. You basically have to go into your plays, get your board blown up, then you can activate the secondary effect. But you mainly use it for the first effect to grab the Marincess Wave. Also run the 1 Wonder Heart. Out of the Link 4s, Wonder Heart's better at going second, while the Argonauts better at going first. Because Wonder Heart, once per battle during damage calculation, if this card battles, quick effect, you special summon 1 of your Marincess monsters this card is equipped to, or equipped to this card, and this card cannot be destroyed by battle. And also, you take no battle damage from that battle. Also run the 1 Great Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef, once per turn during each standby phase, you can banish 1 water monster from your graveyard, face up field, draw 1 card, and each time a monster is banished face up, this card gains its turn attack for each. So this card, basically if you're playing more of a grind game, this card is the one you're going to want to have. You also got the Argonaut, which is the one you're going to end on if you're going first. Because once per turn, you can target 1 monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, turn them to the hand. So it's not bad going second, but the other effect is for this card shines. During your opponent's turn, when a spell, trap card, or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, special summon 1 of your Marincess monsters equipped to this card, negate the activation. Also run 1 Splash Mage, special Cyrus from grave, as well as the 1 Access Code Talker to help round games up, although it may be hard to go into if you get locked into water. Also run the 1 Bahamut Shark and the 1 Totally Awesome to round out the extra deck. What do you think of Marincess? Think it's a pretty cool deck? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next round. Bye.